Hey everyone, and welcome to Industry Headlines. Kevin Kaufman and Fred Weaver here. We're back with another episode, and thank you for all of our listeners and downloads and participating with us. I'm enjoying doing this because I'm keeping up on what's going on out in the industry, and it's helping me be more accountable and responsible to evolving with the times and staying up on things.
Makes you realize there's a whole lot of stuff going on, and it's why some of the people talk about disruption so much, is because when you take the time to look at it, there are a lot of different things happening.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see it in the day-to-day. You're going on listing appointments, you're going on recruiting appointments, etc. But when you take a step back, you realize, yeah, there's a lot of stuff brewing in our industry, and it's important that we stay on top of it.
Yeah, what used to happen maybe over a 6-month period of time, a handful of headlines, wow, that's coming, seemingly is coming once a week now. So let's jump into some of our headlines this week, Kevin. We've talked a little bit about privatizing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the government's potential desire to release them from conservatorship. What's new in that arena? I'm seeing a lot of headlines in the news this week about that.
Yeah, so there was a release yesterday. So the Treasury, who's actually in control of Fannie and Freddie and actually receives all of their profits illegally, actually came out yesterday on record, and it said, like, hey,
spoken like a true stockholder.
Thank you.
Illegally.
So it's illegal. Like, I mean, a judge agrees with it, but whatever. It's not like I'm a judge. So they've come out yesterday and said, hey, yeah, we need to, we've got to recapitalize these two companies, because currently Fannie and Freddie aren't allowed to hold more than $3 billion. Now, they make a lot more money than that, and all of that money goes to the Treasury currently illegally, and they're going to stop that process. Now, what still remains to be seen is, what's the timeline for this? It was a big step that the Treasury, who is in control and receives the money,
the piggy bank of the U.S. government.
Yeah, the piggy bank. So they're like, I'm guessing they've got someone else to steal from at this point. I don't know. And so they're going to let.
They're looking for other companies they can put into conservatorship.
Yeah. So if you're a big company, be
Fannie
careful out there. The Treasury might be coming for you.
Right.
By the way, just kidding. Anybody who's listening from the government.
Also newsworthy in that story too is that there's some recommendations about simplifying the qualified mortgage rule. I don't know that I feel 100% qualified to explain what exactly that means, other than there's a lot of regulations that Fannie and Freddie some they have to go through, some they're able to sidestep, et cetera, depending upon what's going on. So I think they're trying to sort of level the playing field, if you will. It's kind of the way I read that.
Exactly. You know what, though? We'll have Todd Booksman on soon. So Todd said, hey, I'd love to come on and talk about some of the finance stuff. So Todd, get yourself ready, buddy. We're going to have you on soon.
Cool. So the largest real estate organization in the world, Realogy, also in the headlines recently.
I thought you were going to say a different company. Yes.
No, the largest real estate organization in the world, also in the country. They operate under different brands, but this is one company.
Yeah.
So we're really clear.
Speaking of that brand, like, they had some big changes yesterday, or they announced big changes yesterday, right?
Yeah. So they're doing some consolidation with their NRT brand, which is their company-owned real estate agents. So these are agents that Realogy is made up of a lot of different franchises, right? Like Better Homes and Gardens, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, etc. Also, though, as part of Realogy is some company-owned stuff. So it's like they own the franchises and they own the local offices, if you want to think about it that way. Like there's no middle ownership, if you will. They own it all.
And so the CEO and really the whole management team of NRT is now essentially the management team of Coldwell Banker, right? So Coldwell Banker being the biggest part of NRT. Now, part of Coldwell Banker is actually franchised, but the vast majority of it, like 55,000 or so of the agents, are actually under the company-owned NRT umbrella. And so that management team is going to be consolidated, which I think is a really smart move, probably long overdue. So Ryan Gorman, who's the CEO of NRT, is now the CEO as well of Coldwell Banker.
His business card just got longer. CEO of NRT, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, ERA. Like, it's a long business card, Ryan. But anyway, so that's what they're doing here, though, is they're trying to bring things more under one roof, if you will, more under one leadership team. Still different brands, though, so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. I like Ryan Gorman. I'll go on record as saying that, but from a standpoint of like how this will play out, time will tell. It'll be interesting.
And then the other piece of this is some of their other brands. So Better Homes and Gardens is one of their brands under the Realogy umbrella, and the CEO of that, Sherry Chris, who she's received so many accolades and she's done a great job. I forget her exact stats, but she's really grown that brand in her time there at the helm. She's now moving over into this, what they're called expansion brands portfolio, which is going to be Better Homes and Gardens, ERA, and then Climb Real Estate, which currently Climb resides only in NRT. However, that is one that they announced earlier this year. They're going to start franchising Climb. Now, Climb is kind of like that higher level. I hate to compare it to Compass, but think of it like that. It's that upper end Sotheby's Compass type of feel brand of theirs that they bought that one brokerage, and now they're actually going to go franchise that out. So Sherry Chris is going to be now in charge of leading the expansion of those 3 brands for them. That's going to be their big push for.
I might actually be more confused after announcing this industry headline than I was before we started.
That's because you're slow.
Okay, maybe some of you will keep up with it better. Also in the news, this I was not slow to pick up on. The Realogy Compass fighting continues, also in court. I thought this was interesting. A New Jersey judge, so this made it all the way to the courts, has ruled that Compass was complicit in accepting proprietary information and created a fake job, or a dummy job, as I believe it reads in the ruling, to recruit a former Realogy employee. So there's been a lot of accusations. We've talked about this on previous episodes of Realogy, not just saying, hey, Compass is, doing some bad stuff, but like not just taking our people, they're taking proprietary information and compensating our people for that information. And a judge has just ruled that absolutely happened. Like, it's no longer an accusation. There is now a judge that has said that truly happened. Now, we all know the court system. We all know there could be many more rulings after this.
It's probably just a battle in the war between these 2 companies, right? And in their bigger
but the war
lawsuit.
rages on.
But yeah, it sounds to me like Realogy just won the first battle.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's talk about this. This was also big news. iBuyer giant Opendoor, right? The original, the OG, if you will, of iBuyers just acquired a title and escrow company. Now that's big news. The OS National is the name of this title and escrow company. And so their thought process is we're going to be able to streamline the closing experience too, and make this easier for their clients, which truthfully, to me, it's a no duh. I'll be honest. I thought they already owned OS National title.
Yeah, well, because
this was really news to me.
Yeah. Well, for those of you, I feel like a baseball announcer right now. For those of you keeping score at home, last week during our industry headlines, we talked about Opendoor starting a mortgage company, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about the fact that Opendoor is offering those mortgage products not only to people buying their homes, but also to any consumer. I think it was Texas and Arizona, if I recall correctly, are the 2 states. So now, in addition, let's just say if you're in Arizona or Texas, like now, not only can you get your mortgage through Opendoor, but you can also now go get your title and escrow through Opendoor, and you might also want to buy your home through Opendoor. See what they just did there? Now, granted, this has a little ways to go to still spread itself out throughout all the country. I think Opendoor's in 20 some markets, if I'm somewhat in the ballpark on that range. Right. You can go to their website and see all their current markets if you don't know where that is, opendoor.com. But it's just interesting to kind of see some of these moves that are being made, right? We talked a few weeks ago about Zillow just kind of pausing some of their mortgage stuff because they're working on some technology. What I thought was interesting is that a couple weeks after that announcement, now I hear announced that Zillow's seeking some more money.
Another
a couple of $1,000 they'd like.
$1 billion.
Oh, more than
$1.1 billion in fresh capital.
Maybe it's to go build out their mortgage technology. I don't know. Really don't.
So these are going to be what they call senior notes that are due in 2024 and then 2026 as well, which truthfully, that's not that far away, dude. It's 5 and 7 years away. That's not that. So they're saying, hey, we need another 1.1 billion. We're going to go spend it. We're going to go spend it and basically recapture it in the next 5 to 7 years. That's a lot of money. That's not like, hey, I'm going to spend $1 billion over the next decade.
Well, it's sort of been, I mean, let's be honest. There's been a lot of companies that have actually said, like, I'm going to spend $1 billion in technology, like right? There's some brands that have said that.
Yeah.
And the thing that I see with that though is like they're doing that over 10 or 20 years when you dig in and ask them deeper. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to spend $50 million a year for the next 20 years. Zillow just went out and got another 1.1 billion. Like they've already spent well over $1 billion, right?
Well, they've already got a market cap of like $6-7 billion to begin with. So it's not like they didn't have any money.
Yeah.
This is them throwing gasoline on their
This is going to get another billion, and they're going to use it in the next 5 to 7 years. Interesting stuff. So for those watching at home, Zillow's got big plans, and they're raising more money to do it. And if you just have an extra 1.1 billion laying around, or maybe a couple $100 million, they'd be happy to give you some senior notes. They're actually going to pay out semi-annual interest. I thought that was kind of interesting as well on this particular money. So I'm thinking about loaning a couple hundred extra million to them. We'll see.
Couple hundred extra million. You're such an idiot. At any rate, this is guys, like, that is, listen, when they made the move from Spencer no longer being the CEO to Rich Barton, we all said, okay, they're about to get more aggressive. That's about as aggressive as you get right there for a company that's as established as they are, that has been around as long as they are. That's aggressive, like big moves on the Zillow side. Yeah, interesting stuff. Anyway, lots of headlines. Can't wait to see what the next 7 days brings us. Tune in again next week for the next episode of Industry Headlines, and catch some other podcast episodes we have going on as well. Lots of great interviews happening, so you should check out all the stuff we have here. Some people we've even talked about today on this show will be a guest very soon. Ooh, teasing us with some stuff. All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a great one.